this is Adam from Industry Tattoo Supply, and today I'm joined with Sam Smyth, a West Australian tattooist and machine maker, and we're really stoked to be joined by Brandyn Feldman, tattoo collector, artist and machine builder from Feldman MFG. So Brandyn, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey guys, good to be here. Thank you so much.
We've been talking a few times, and you've been in this as a tattooist, as a studio owner, and as a machine builder, amongst the many things that you involve yourself in for over 20 years, including 2 studios in California. Yeah, you must have some amazing experiences to reflect on.
I would just say the whole thing is a good story. I mean, I really like the aspect of tattooing that I'm like an introvert, but I also like people. But tattooing's taught me to like people. Like, if it wasn't for tattooing, I wouldn't be as people oriented. Because without people, tattooing doesn't exist. And I would say all the experiences kind of are the best experiences. Yes, I had crazy times. We had guns in the shop. I got robbed a few times, and I had to play cowboys type situation and pull out guns on people and hit people with hammers and all that kind of bullshit. But it just comes with the territory.
Do you miss that side of tattooing a little bit? Like, I was always drawn to always loved the sort of darker side of tattooing to a degree.
Well, I mean, it's kind of embedded into me. When I first started tattooing out of the Navy, I worked in a real biker shop, a motorcycle club owned biker shop. And I learned real quick kind of what the whole game was, how the game was played, or at least some of the strategies. I kind of miss some of that stuff. I mean, it gets a little heavy at times, but that's where some of that magic comes from, like that tattoo, mystique, I just kind of liked all the different types of people. You could be tattooing, I could be tattooing a banker in the morning and tattooing a complete almost crack addict or gang member or punk kid or some yuppie college student, whatever. It just I like street shop tattooing. I like tattooing 15 people a day. That's kind of always been my thing. I've never been like a whole let's have a consultation and sit down and let me read your aura here and I'll tell you, which flower you should get, and we'll add some script into it, and maybe paint a picture of your whole family or whatever. It's never been totally my thing, and I'm not as artistic as other people that can do that. So I'm more of a craft tattooer. If you see it on the wall, I can put it on your skin.
Over your career, you've had amazing artists work for you, and you've met Lyle, and you continue to work and collaborate and obviously communicate with awesome people, brands and whatever. The hard work you put in has led to where your career is at, but I mean, what's a memorable moment and this is where it's at sort of thing?
I've been around some really fantastic people in tattooing, and the one thing that I can lean back on now, because I used to kind of look at it from oh wow, this person's like a superstar or whatever. Now the way I look at it is all those people, and it doesn't matter if you're super high on the chain or not super high on the chain. Anybody that puts their life and dedication into tattooing has stories, and I really just like hearing those stories. I like hearing all the different aspects. I just look forward to meeting new people all the time. I try to talk to as many customers as I can, because I think at this point in tattooing is the most important time to kind of band together and I used to be like real secretive, and I still am in a sense, but if we don't talk to one another and we don't share like trade secrets, some of those trade secrets are going to start to take a new life and a new story. And that's my biggest fear, is people start creating like this masked illusion of what tattooing really is when that might not be the truth, So I think all these stories, if you've got them, share them, because if not, some of these people that, put, 40, 50, 60 years in the tattooing, they're going to be gone eventually, and it's up to us to allow the newer generations to know those stories, because those are the things that are important in tattooing, People have always figured out a way to write themselves into tattooing, right? So I just recently got to spend some time with Charlie Cartwright. His name's Good Time Charlie. He really is a pioneer in the more fine line West Coast realistic. He worked with Jack Rudy and Ed Hardy and Freddie Negretti and Mike Brown, and just a plethora of people, right? And if you think about that, right, and you think about the time period in which he was doing this work, and you listen to him and you listen to his story, and then you kind of think about what's happening now in tattooing, we owe people like that a debt of gratitude, because they opened up different doors that were not once open before. But then you've got to think, there's all these new people in tattooing that want to write themselves into the picture too, right? And they should be given every right to write themselves into the picture as well.
100%.
These guys in the 60s and 70s and 80s and so on, guys and girls, were able to really say, hey, this is us. This is what we want to make of this. And I think that that's probably going to always be the opportunity with tattooing. I mean, you look at the modern artistry, and we're seeing all kinds of different forms of tattoo designs that they may not even make any sense to somebody that's been around. But and I think, at least from the stories, and I'm probably becoming this person, but I think that some of the older generation of tattooing is saying the same thing they've kind of always said, and that's these young tattooers, and they're coming in and they're using dildos and they're using all these things, and think about like 40, 50 years ago, that generation coming in that were putting gloves on, and they were using multiple needles rather than the same needle all the time, So to them, that was like this new weird evolution of tattooing, just like people that got into the business and only knew coils and made their own needles. And now you've got this whole new generation of people that are using cartridges and almost disposable everything setups. And you've probably heard history has a way of repeating itself, right? I think the true statement there is history doesn't necessarily repeat itself as much as it always rhymes, right? History always rhymes. So you've got all these new, like, it's almost like school. You're the senior, and then you see all these freshmen, and they come in, and you wore blue when you're a freshman, and now they're wearing pink, and vice versa. I think it's just, tattooing is such a, it's human driven only, right? All the stories are person to person, and skin, right? If you don't have skin, we're not in business.